All right, let's dive into the core ideas from Brian Keene's The Fitness Mindset. And listen, this is not just another diet or workout plan you're going to try for a few weeks. This is a whole new way of thinking about your health so you can get results that, actually stick around for good.
Does this sound familiar to you? You're putting in all the effort, you're trying your best to eat right, but the progress is just painfully slow. And your motivation? It just starts to vanish. Look, if that's you, you are definitely not alone. And it turns out there's a very specific reason this keeps happening.
It's this vicious cycle, right? You start out super strong, you're full of energy, but when the results you're seeing don't really match the effort you're putting in, that frustration starts to creep in. And eventually, you just burn out. You end up right back where you started, feeling like you failed. But what if it was never you that failed? What if the plan itself was the problem all along?
And that brings us to the central idea of the whole book. The real secret to a transformation that lasts isn't some magic supplement or a crazy brutal workout schedule. It's about fundamentally changing your mental approach to fitness, to energy, and to your own motivation.
So why do most plans just crumble? Well, according to Keene, it's because they're built on a really unstable foundation. Too many of us jump straight into these complex diets or intense training programs without ever understanding the absolute basics first. Keene uses this fantastic metaphor. Think of your fitness journey like you're building a house. You wouldn't build your house on sand, would you? Of course not. You need a solid, concrete foundation. And in the world of fitness, that foundation is knowledge. It's understanding how your body actually works.
And that solid foundation, it all starts with the very first pillar, nutrition. But hold on, this isn't about restriction or telling you what you can't eat. It's about completely reframing food as fuel and really understanding what your body needs to generate real, sustainable energy all day long.
Just like a strong house needs the right materials to stand tall, your body is exactly the same. The right fuel, and we're talking about a proper balance of macronutrients, is the concrete foundation for absolutely everything else you want to build.
So, what is this right fuel? Well, it comes down to these three building blocks. Macronutrients. Seriously, that's it. No matter what diet you've ever heard of, keto, paleo, you name it, it's all just a different way of arranging these three components. Getting this right is the first step to getting out of all that confusion. Let's just break it down super simple. Proteins, they're for building and repairing. Fats, they are absolutely essential for your brain and for keeping your energy level stable. And carbohydrates, I know they get a bad rap. They are your body's #1 preferred source of fuel. Understanding how to balance these is the key to eating for energy, not for deprivation. Okay, so once your nutrition foundation is solid, we can build the second pillar, your training. And here, too, the mindset has to shift. It is not about how many hours you spend in the gym, it's all about the quality of the work you're doing while you're there.
This is a huge mythbuster for a lot of people. We're taught to think that more hours equals better results, but Keene argues that overdoing it is actually counterproductive. Turns out, the sweet spot is around 40 to 60 minutes, maybe 3 to 5 times a week. The focus should be on putting tension on the muscle, not just mindlessly moving weight around. So how do you actually do that? The book gives a super practical technique, the 2-1-2 tempo. By forcing you to slow down and control the entire movement, you massively increase the time that muscle is under tension. And that is the key trigger for growth. It's way more important than just lifting as heavy as you can.
And now we come to the pillar that holds the whole thing up, mastering your mindset. Because let's be honest, without the right mental framework, even the most perfect diet and training plan in the world will eventually fall apart. This is all about your habits, your motivation, and your recovery.
So how in the world do you change your behavior? First, you have to understand it. Habits work in a really simple 3-part loop. And it all starts with a cue. You can think of this as the trigger. It could be a time of day, a certain feeling, or a place that just automatically kicks off a behavior.
Next up in the loop is the routine. That's the behavior itself. Keene actually shares his own story here. For him, the cue was finishing a long, stressful day at work. And the routine? Immediately reaching for junk food. It was this totally automatic, unthinking response to the stress of his day. And that leads to the final part, the reward. For him, that junk food gave him a temporary feeling of comfort. Now here's the trick. The solution isn't to ignore the cue, it's to change the routine. So he started packing a gym bag and going to work out instead. He got a way better reward, endorphins, and this huge sense of accomplishment. It's the same cue,
just a different routine, leading to a much better reward.
But we all know changing habits is hard. It takes some powerful motivation. And this quote from the book just perfectly captures the idea of finding your why. Think about it. Would you walk a narrow plank between two buildings for $20? Probably not. But what if your child was on the other side? You'd do it without a second thought. The task doesn't change, but your reason for doing it, your why, unlocks a level of determination you never knew you had.
The final piece of this mindset puzzle is recovery. We focus so much on the work, on the grind, but the real progress actually happens when you rest. And that means getting quality sleep and managing your stress. If your mind is totally burnt out from stress and high cortisol, your body simply cannot recover and rebuild. It's that simple. So there you have it. Those are the 3 pillars that create a foundation for success that will actually last. You fuel your body correctly, you train with quality and intention, and you hold it all together with a powerful, resilient mindset.
Ultimately, the book's biggest argument is that physical change is always a lagging indicator of a mental one. Your body simply follows where your mind leads it. So, the only real question left is, what's the first small change you're going to make in your mindset today?